guys, and welcome to today's Los Blancos podcast. Today we're going to discuss the PSG game. It's been a while since I talked to you guys, and it's been about 2 weeks, probably, maybe a little less. But I'm speaking following an absolutely destruction match of Real Madrid, one in which we got totally embarrassed by PSG, 4-0, and it was kind of resounding the way we went down. Because last few games, we'd been getting a bit of hope. We watched Real Madrid play some good football, some good football at times, some much improved football against Dortmund, against Juve, against Salzburg, against Pachuca. So, I was a bit hopeful going into this match. I was, of course, wary that PSG are still 10 times better, and they just 100% showed that, especially in that first half, because I think, you could just see the difference in the two teams in that first half. And I think Luis Enrique put it perfectly. You can't judge Xabi Alonso based on that match because he needs a pre-season. But I think you can see the difference, see how far we have to go in order to reach PSG's level based on that first half. You watched it and it was literally like PSG were, physically a pass ahead of us. And there's not many times that you should be pleased to see that. It's like, it hurts to watch, when PSG are just that much better. I think one of the most annoying things to watch especially is the fact that PSG were better one-on-one alongside also being tactically, obviously ready, tactically sound. So, often when you saw, let's say on the right hand side, you saw Desiree Doué taking on Fran Garcia, it did, Hakimi was ready to make the underlap. He was always making that underlap for Doué to give him an extra option, but a lot of the times Doué didn't even have to make that pass. He would have to take on Fran Garcia, drag the defender, and then he would beat Fran Garcia, and suddenly, it was 3v2. It was just like, and then suddenly, then you have to bring Rudiger over. And then once Rudiger's over, then suddenly you've also got Fabian Ruiz making the run in behind as well. And so PSG created those overloads time and time again. And it doesn't help that the front three don't track back, the front three don't press, because, the pure fact of the matter is that when that happens, you're just going to get overloaded time in, time out. And the good thing about being overloaded is, in Europe right now, I think there are only two teams that can actually overload Real Madrid in the same way PSG did, and that's PSG and Barcelona. So it's good and bad news, because obviously we're going to play Barcelona max for 6 times next year, so that's going to hurt, but it is what it is. We're just going to have to make sure that we figure something out going into next season. I saw a lot of people were happy with the lineup going into this match. I personally wasn't. I didn't think that 3 attackers was the approach to go against this PSG side, especially when 2 of those attackers are Vini and Mbappe. And I think it was proved right. It was just like they were too isolated. There was no connection point, and they just didn't run. I thought they would be a bit different. I thought they would be told to do a bit different. Maybe they did get told to do a bit differently, but there was no proof in the way they played. They played like they didn't care. And I think, for me, especially in Mbappe's case, I think Vini, it's just like it's pathetic performances at this point, and I think it's just not good enough. There's only one solution for Vini, and that's getting dropped at this point. But for Mbappe, I don't know how, as a footballer with such a big ego, how as a person with such a big ego, you can watch PSG, the team that you left 12 months ago, saying that they were on their way down, saying that they were totally fucked, their project had been finished, their Qatari project is over. You left them for Real Madrid, the Champions League winners, and not only did those Champions League winners then proceed to have their worst season in modern history, but PSG then transformed into a total dynasty as soon as you left. I don't know how, as a person, you confirm that and continue to do the same things that made the thing all go wrong. I don't understand that, because, like, for me, I think that if I was in Mbappe's position, and I'm not, I'm not a multi-millionaire footballer. I'm not the guy who's probably the best footballer on the planet based on ability. I can't say that for sure, but for me personally, I would suck it up and I would say I've got to do something different, because clearly, even if it isn't his fault, even some people will say it's not his fault, but even if it isn't, surely you have to do, as a person, you have to do something different. And I think Mbappe is just not doing that. The pressing is obviously where I'm talking about here, because Courtois post game said like to Dembele, he said in the press conference that he told Dembele that he presses really well. I think that was a really good shot to take both out of Vinicius and Mbappe. And that's what amuses me a lot about this Vinicius and Mbappe thing, that their fans are going up against each other. It's not a case of Vinicius or Mbappe. It's a case of they're both shit, and for this team to be at their best, they both have to be at their best. So unfortunately, I don't give a fuck who plays good. To be honest, they're both playing dog shit. So I don't like. There's nothing about this. There's not like, let's get rid of the other one, or this guy's playing shit but the other one's playing alright. No. That's not how it works. They're both playing shit, and I'm gonna call them both out for playing shit. Vinicius, it's just like, you watch the games of him when he's playing next to Benzema, and it's a different footballer. And that hurts. Like, that really does hurt to watch. Like, Vinicius, he looks slow. He doesn't look right. He doesn't look like he's the same footballer right now, and that's really damn concerning. You watch him against Mbappe next to Benzema, and these quick passes popping off, and then when he's on the 1v1, he torches the whole defense. And when he's got no support off the left hand side because he's playing with Mendy, and he's just fantastic. He's doing everything correctly. And then you watch this footballer who doesn't know when to pass, doesn't know when to shoot, doesn't know when to take on his man, doesn't know when it's too many guys to take on. He's just making all the wrong decisions, and it does beg the question, like, will Vinicius be the same? I mean, I saw a stat before this game, in that season, the 21-22 season, when we played PSG, the last time we played PSG, Vinicius took on and beat Hakimi 5 times. This game, it wasn't going to happen once, to be honest. He wasn't going to beat Hakimi once. So it just shows you the complete and utter transition of Vinicius into the worst type of player, somebody who can't do anything on that pitch. He can't do anything, and that's the worst thing about it. I mean, let's go on to defenders, because for some reason, clearly both Rudiger and Asensio are lacking a brain. Asensio's case, he's been on something different this tournament. I mean, what's he doing for that goal? I mean, the touch bad, the way he recovered bad. PSG are going to get on you. That should have been something you focused on, your passing out from the back, and it's what you cocked up. So, like, there was plenty of other occasions where he just gave the ball away stupidly, and it should have been something that you figured out. And unfortunately, the second Dienhausen and Trent Alexander-Arnold both go out, the defence suddenly can't play out from the back. Every single one of them can't play out from the back. It does speak quite heavily to what this team needs. Luckily, we've got it in the squad. Luckily, it's only a one-game problem, but unfortunately, that just shows you how vulnerable this squad is to bigger problems, because what happens later down the line when we need to rest Dienhausen and Trent? Well, Danny Carvajal can do the right back position pretty well, but nobody else can do that centre back role, so I'm a bit worried about that. And then Rudiger, I mean, there's something about Rudiger. I said it a couple months ago after the Barcelona game, his head just looked completely fried. The way he's playing playing like an idiot, playing like a total idiot. That pass for the second goal, as well as the positioning for the third goal, I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's playing like a total idiot, and he, just like constantly giving away stupid fouls. and it's just like he's playing really, really damn badly, and it does give me a lot of worries because going into next season, we've got liabilities at the back. We've got liabilities as our backup centre backs. We've got Dane Howson and Eder Militao, who played well when he came off the bench. Give it to him. He played pretty well when he came off the bench, but still, coming off a second ACL injury is definitely not a guarantee. Rudiger playing absolutely stupidly. Raul Asensio playing like he's oxygen deprived to the head. And you got David Alaba, who's constantly injured, isn't physically capable anymore. That's our centre back options. Obviously, we've got Jacobo Ramon, we've got João Martinez, and we've got Diego Aguado as well. So it's just like apart from Danehausen, you can't really trust any of the guys. And I was really annoyed when Danehausen got that red in the Dortmund game. It was just an unnecessary red. It was unnecessary. You were 3-1 up. He could have just taken the goal, and that should have been it. Instead, he took a goal as well as a red card. It was just unnecessary, and that really did cost us. I think, especially with the ball playing, it was just not good enough. I think, I'm just not happy with that performance, and I think it was all compounded by the fact that every single play, every time Jude Bellingham and Federico Valverde tracked back to get the ball, they were shouting at the motherfuckers around them because they were not doing their work. They were not doing what was required of them, and it's just like it's constantly the same thing over and over again, where Jude Bellingham and Fede have to compensate for these guys being lazy, being stupid, being over dramatic on the ball, and they're the ones that have to sacrifice. They're the ones who have to get back. They're the ones who have to constantly just run themselves into the ground. Jude Bellingham's gone for 3 to 4 months now, so you can't now at this point you can't anymore just hope that Jude Bellingham's going to be able to do everything for you, because that's simply not the case. Jude is going off now. He's done for 3 to 4 months. You're going to have to find a way to play without him, because if you don't, then you're going to get absolutely smoked every single game that you play. So unfortunately, that's the situation we've got right now. Now, am I hopeful? Yes, I'm hopeful, because at the end of the day, we're not playing PSG every week, and from now until when the season starts, let me have a look when Real Madrid's opener versus Osasuna is. But from now, July the 10th, when I'm recording this, to that first game against Osasuna, which is on 19th of August. So we've got over a month and 9 days. We've got 40 days until Real Madrid then. So in that time, we have a lot of time. That's a good amount of time to be able to recover, be able to do something new, be able to work this team out a little bit more. Xabi Alonso's done a good job so far, in my opinion. He's done a good job. He was a bit naive going into this game, but overall he's done a good job, because at the end of the day, you could see the improvements in those little games against Pachuca, against Salzburg, against Dortmund, and against Juventus. All of those games, you could see that there is improvements. There are tangible improvements to Real Madrid. So at least we've got that. We've got that to cling on to. We don't have to play the PSGs and the Barcelonas of the world, and especially every single game. And this is the thing about the league title in La Liga. You don't have to beat Barcelona every week to win La Liga. You only have to beat, you only have to play Barcelona. You don't even have to beat Barcelona once to win La Liga. You can lose to Barcelona twice. You can lose them 4-0 twice, and win every other game, and you will win the league. So it's down to us to make sure that we get those little things right against the littler teams to be able to win a league, and then we can sort out the bigger problems, the ones that are going to cost us against the likes of PSG. And so far, I do see tangible improvements that Xabi Alonso has done to help us against those little teams that we kept on dropping points against last season. So at least we can see that. In terms of this big game, we need to figure out something, because the thing is, right, we were talking about this last season, 3 attackers is just not plausible. It's not plausible, and I appreciate that Gonzalo Garcia was doing work. He was running, and he was actually trying. The only one who was trying at the front three to win the ball back. I appreciate that, but at the end of the day, he is an attacker, and he is occupying attacking positions, and so therefore, unfortunately, he is already taken out of the game when the two others don't press. So all of his pressing efforts are just, they don't matter. They don't matter whatsoever. So we need to find a solution. What's the solution? We need to play an extra midfielder. We've got one of the best midfields in the world, allegedly. So, use them. Use those guys. Play the likes of Arda. Play Bellingham. Play Fede. Play Camavinga. Play Shermany. Make sure you get every single one of those guys in the team. And then you can try and compensate for these two up front. And then that brings me to the next thing. These two up front have to do it. I can't, there's no if, buts, or maybe, and 100% they have to, you have to be smart. You don't tell them to press every possession. But, it has to be better than what it was yesterday, because I just don't understand how Mbappe can watch his counterpart, Dembele, who is up for the Ballon d'Or. I don't understand how he can watch that and just say, I'm not going to press properly, I'm not going to do my work properly. I don't understand that. So for me, that's immediately, something that you have to be doing if you're Xabi Alonso. Get that sorted, get that pressing sorted, because you've now got a month, 40 days until we play Osasuna. Get that thing sorted, get that big problem sorted, and then we can talk. Then the build up, ultimately at the end of the day, the second Dean Howson and Trent come back into the squad, that your job is 50% done. 75, I would even argue. There's such big improvements on that position in terms of that build up. So a lot of the work is done, but apart from that, you need to fix something else. So you've got 40 days to do that as well. I've got no issues with that. And the next thing is, some of you, if you're NBA fans, you would have seen that when Benyama went to China, make Vinicius do the exact same thing. Send him to China. And make him do some of that monk stuff, because he needs to come back a different person. In my opinion, he needs to come back with a different mindset, different personality. Comes back, works harder. Send him on holiday, and make sure that he's a bit fresher, because he just doesn't look right. So give him a little bit of break, and let's hope that he comes back proper Vinicius Junior. I think, what else should I talk about? Brahim Diaz was unfortunately dog shit when he came on as well. Modric, and this is the thing I was most pissed about, because at the end of the day you can lose in different ways, but it's Modric's final game, and you lose in that manner is just pathetic. You watch one of the greatest players in this club's history, and he has to go out like that. It's absolutely disgusting that they even allowed something like that to happen. But that's just the state of Real Madrid in 2020, 24, 25. So you can't really do anything about that. Apart from that, that's all I've got to add, really. We'll have a couple more podcasts coming soon. We'll have a 24-25 season review coming up as well, because this is obviously the final game. As well as an Alvaro Carreras one, because here we go, is coming soon for that one. So finally, after such a long time, Alvaro Carreras will be signing for Real Madrid. And then we'll do a season preview as well soon, that will be closer to the actual season for Real Madrid. But yeah, that's it from me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's Los Blancos podcast. Please give us a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.